Alrighty, YouTube, Niner Empire. The 49ers just released quarterback Carter Bradley as well as Tanner Mordecai. They cut 2 defensive linemen. They released Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back, and they also put Isaiah Prince, the offensive tackle, who got injured in the preseason finale versus the Chargers, on injured reserve. So a little bit of some roster moves there. I'm not surprised that Mordecai and Carter Bradley were both cut. You got to wonder, if the 49ers will bring in somebody else. They probably could even re-sign Mordecai to kind of just hang out on the practice squad this season. That obviously leaves the 49ers quarterback room with obviously Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, who's still nursing that knee injury that he suffered in the preseason game versus the Raiders, and Curtis Rourke. So obviously Curtis Rourke dealing with that ACL tear, so he's not going to be healthy anytime soon, but I definitely think that the 49ers are probably going to have somebody on their practice squad. God forbid if something were to happen throughout the season to the quarterback room. But yeah, so those are the latest roster updates as of today. Those were just released probably 15, 20 minutes ago. And now to get into the preseason finale and kind of give my thoughts on that. I think standouts from that game, guys that immediately come to mind, Jeff Wilson Jr., Nick Martin, Sebastian Valdez, Tariq Owens. I thought all of those guys played fairly well. I thought those guys were probably the best amongst everybody else. Nick Martin, man, here's the thing. In the first preseason game versus the Denver Broncos, he struggled, right? He was over pursuing the ball carrier. He was missing tackles. When he tackles, though, and when he hits you, you're going down. So obviously, I'm sure his adrenaline's pumping through the roof. He's playing in an NFL game. Nick Martin can be a very, very good player. And if there's one person that I would not second guess in developing linebackers, it's Robert Saleh. He helped Fred Warner develop Dre Greenlaw. That's one guy that I would not second guess on developing linebackers. I think Nick Martin, number one, I think he's definitely going to make the roster, the 53-man roster. But I think he can very well develop into the guy alongside Fred Warner. I think the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to that is probably D. Winters. I know Tatum Bethune's made some flashy plays in preseason. One guy, real quick, I'm forgetting about that shined in the preseason game. Curtis Robinson. Shout out to Curtis Robinson, who came off of the season-ending injury last year. I believe it was a knee injury last year that kept him out, but he had a pick 6 against DJ Uiagalelei in the preseason finale. Shout out to Curtis Robinson. I want to say that was a knee injury that he suffered last year. I want to say it was a lower body injury that kept him out, but what a play. What a play late in the game. That kind of put the icing on the cake for the 49ers to eventually go on and win the preseason finale. But, yeah, I was super stoked to see Curtis Robinson make that play. I know he feels pretty good about that. So, but, yeah, going back to, what I was talking about, Nick Martin, he's had a very good camp, but he's also played very well in preseason games. So I do think that he could very well become the guy alongside Fred Warner for the future if he continues to develop and get better at the rate that he's doing it. So super stoked to see that. Jeff Wilson Jr., I think, has a really good chance to make the team, giving the, decimated running back room that the 49ers are dealing with. Obviously, when you look at the running back room, You've got McCaffrey, Brian Robinson's the solidified running back too. But they need bodies because 49er running backs tend to get hurt all the freaking time. So they're obviously going to keep more than just Brian Robinson, McCaffrey, and Garindo on the roster. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. could very well have a chance to make this roster. There's familiarity there. I think he's positioned himself in a good spot to make the roster. I'm excited to see what happens with that. You got to wonder about Jordan James, who's dealing with the broken finger. He's kind of nursing to come back. Corey Kiner, he's still dealing with it with an injury. So, I mean, the running back room is banged up, but I think Jeff Wilson Jr., in my opinion, is better than Garindo. He's looked better than Garindo at least. And the best ability is availability, and that's something that Jeff Wilson Jr. has on Garindo as of right now. So, I think Garindo's stock is dropping. I think Jeff Wilson's stock is rising. And I think he could very well position himself to make the 49ers 53-man roster. Tariq Owens had one catch in the preseason finale, and it was a 22-yard touchdown catch from, was it Carter Bradley that threw that? I want to say it was Carter Bradley. Could have been Tanner Mordecai. I don't remember. Both of them play around like the same player. Hell of a catch for Tariq Owens. I know Terrell, his dad, was probably hyped up to see that, so that was pretty cool to see Tariq Owens. I think Sebastian Valdez, though, going back to him, I think he could very well be in a good position to make the 49ers final cuts. He didn't miss a tackle that he was involved in on Saturday versus the Chargers. He had a quarterback hurry, a couple pressures here and there. I think he's pretty freaking good, as an undrafted rookie. He's had a really good camp as well. So excited always about the underdogs that are coming in undrafted or just a late round pick that aren't really expected to be anything, and they end up molding in to being somebody. So I think the preseason finale was, I think that was a big game for the 49ers depth, right? I think that game is going to have big implications on, the backups to the backups when it comes to this roster. So, Marquez Siegel, I think he's in a good spot. I'm just kind of listing guys that come to mind that's had really good preseasons. If Chase Lucas does not make the 49ers 53-man roster, there's something seriously wrong with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. He has arguably been the best player in preseason. You got to make sure he makes the team. Chase Lucas, phenomenal player, made some splashy plays throughout the preseason. He should be a lock to make the roster, without a doubt. Also, Renardo Green ended up playing in the 49ers preseason finale for, a few series. Happy to see him back out there and healthy. We're going to need him. He's an important piece to the puzzle on defense this offseason, or going into this season. So, I think when you look at the current roster as it stands, I know Jair Brown has been a name that's kind of been thrown out there as a potential trade candidate for the 49ers. I don't necessarily think that they're going to trade him unless it's for the right price, which I think goes for anybody on the team, not named Trent Williams, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy. However, I think when you look at that situation, I think Jair Brown showed very, very good things in his rookie season. His best game, his rookie season, came in the Super Bowl. So that was obviously really good to see. However, I don't know what it is, man. He just can't figure it out. His stock is on the decline. He's not, going into this offseason, it was really looking like Malik Mustafa before the news broke about him tearing his ACL, and Jair Brown were like the solidified guys going into the 2025 season. That has taken a complete turn. I think when you look at the starting safeties right now, probably Marquez Siegel and Jason Pinnock, maybe. I think Jason Pinnock's had a pretty good training camp to be in a good spot to potentially start for the 49ers at safety. I don't think Jair Brown's on that list, personally. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know really who. I will say this. One thing I do know is Marquez Siegel has probably positioned himself to be one of the starting safeties on this team. Whoever the other guy is, we'll see. I think it's going to be Jason Pinnock, personally. I think he's had a really good training camp. He's been getting starting reps as well, from what I've been hearing and seeing on Twitter, or he did at least at one point. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Robert Saleh's made it known that, the safety position is wide open. The defensive backs for the 49ers going into the 2025 season outside of cornerback is not really solidified. I mean, obviously, I think the corners going into this year, starting corners, it's got to be Renardo Green for at least week one, and obviously Diamador Lenore. I think Chase Lucas has a good chance to start. I'm not going to lie. I think Chase Lucas could very well be in a position to earn a starting role. I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot of different situations to keep an eye out on going into this year, especially when it comes to the secondary. I mean, that's one of the, areas of this team that seems to be pretty wide open, outside of Diamador Lenore. I think Renardo Green struggled a little bit during training camp. So, I mean, his position could even be in jeopardy at some point throughout the season. But I'm worried about the secondary. I'm not going to lie. I'm very worried. I mean, I think of this 49ers defensive line, I think if they can create pressure, there's not going to be a lot that the 49ers secondary is going to be asked to do. I think plays will just kind of fall into their laps. But a 49ers defensive line's banged up. We got to get CJ West back. We got to get Mike Hill-Williams back. I mean, they're banged up. They got to stay healthy throughout the year. I'm hoping, and I said this in one of my more recent videos, but I'm really hoping, when it comes to the 49ers defensive line, and just roster in general, I'm hoping they got all the injuries out of the way early. And I think given the amount of injuries that the 49ers have had throughout training camp and the preseason, I really hope that's a situation where, it's not going to happen again. They got hurt, they got it out of the way, when the time wasn't necessarily important. And now they can go into the season as healthy as possible. And stay healthy. So we will see what happens. Obviously, let me know your guys' thoughts and reactions to the 49ers preseason finale. Let me know who you guys think is going to start at safety, who might struggle starting in the secondary, who could eventually start. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously, I'll continue to keep you guys updated on everything 49ers related. So stay tuned for that. As always, go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.